Let's take a tour of my 81 C10. Let's do a little startup and then we'll talk about it. Alright, let's talk about it a little bit. Well, it was a gift, a blessing really, from my grandfather. He found the truck, got the truck, and then led me on for a couple months about trying to buy it from him, and then finally surprised me and told me that it was my truck. He gave it to me. A little backstory. I've wanted one of these for 12, 13 years, maybe a little bit longer. Since me and my buddy Mark were in high school, we used to carpool together pretty much every morning. We'd either take my big turbo Talon, or we'd take his C10 step side supercharged small block. Those were our two high school cars. Both of them pretty stout. And ever since then, I've kind of had a soft spot for these trucks and been looking for one for a while. You can find them out there reasonably cheap, but they're either ate up with rust, or they're not a step side, they're just a flat side or long bed. Or you can find one like this and pay a decent amount of money for it, and you don't really know the history on it, and you're still probably going to be fighting rust and everything else. But this truck is solid. I mean, the corners and everything are good on it. There's a little bit of rot starting right there. Looks like someone painted over it. I think this truck's been painted twice, I believe. But yeah, I've wanted one of these for a long time, and somehow it just worked out to where I was given one. It's got a long ways to go. It's not going to be a show truck. It's not going to be a race truck. I just want a nice, good little driver. And it does that already. I mean, it starts right up. I can drive it. I've already got tagged and insured. I've driven it to and from work a couple times. I've hauled some wood in it. So far, it's a great little truck. I'm more or less just doing this video so I can kind of see what I'm starting with, so I can look back on my progress, and it's going to be a project for me and my son. And that way he can look back later on, 10, 15 years from now, when he gets his truck, and pull it up on the old YouTubes, if it's still around, and kind of see what him and Daddy started with. And it's just going to be a neat little father-son project. It's got heat. No AC though. All the AC stuff's removed. I'm probably just going to do vintage air on it. It's simple, plug and play, and it just works. Definitely got to get AC in it, so my wife will ride in the truck because she doesn't do windows down, and we're here in Florida, it's hot. And she's got way too fancy hair, it blows her hair around, so she won't ride in it without AC. At least for now, it's pretty relaxing. She's not over there like brake checking the passenger side and freaking out every time something happens and tell me what a horrible driver I am. So right now it's pretty relaxing. I'm sure that'll change in the future, but my son absolutely loves the truck, as much as I do or more. I mean, he wanted to sleep in it the first night, and he's been all up in it and plays in the bed and wants to help clean it and stuff like that, and haul his go-kart around the back. He loves it. He's already in love with it. Kind of look around the truck a little bit. It's got some what are these, 31 10.5 15s, kind of a knobby mud tire looking thing. I definitely want to put like some factory rally wheels on it, just something simple, some 15s and the right size tires, and just a subtle little drop spindle kit, and nothing crazy. I don't want to have to hack the frame or anything like that. Just we'll do simple stuff. Just a good little driver. It's a 305. Nothing done to it. It's all stock. I believe the top end was rebuilt maybe 10-15 years ago by the previous owner. It's got a little love mark there, a little character. It does have a diamond plate bed in it, or I guess you call it a bed mat or a bed plate, but it's over the wood. The wood is still there and solid. It's not rotted out or anything. Frame's pretty good in it. So far, all I've really done to the truck since I got it was replace the rear shocks. It had some load leveling shocks in it. They were blown, so I just put some stock replacements in it. Had a bad transmission mount. I replaced that, and it was missing a bolt where it bolts to the transmission. I've got a solid rear piece glass because these seals in here are notoriously bad and it leaks. Nothing too bad, just a little moldy, yucky. But I want to replace it anyway. I think the single glass looks a little bit better on these, cleaner. I don't need a slider. I do want to get one of the Mexican blanket style seat covers because I can't stand this blue seat that's in here. It's comfy. It's nice. It's not ripped or torn or anything. It's just ugly. And seatbelt. I need a seatbelt. This thing's falling apart and doesn't really retract. So for the time being, all I have is passenger seatbelt and middle seatbelt. I've already got dome light for it in a box with wiring and a bulb and everything. Just need to install it. Just little jobs here or there. Radio comes on, but it doesn't play any tunes, probably because there's not a single speaker in the truck that I can find. So someone evidently did a speaker delete for weight reduction, race truck, I don't know. But there's no speakers in here. There's not even any wires. Everything else pretty much works on the truck. Like I said, I already drive it to and from work here or there, and all the lights, blinkers, everything works. I've got to get the dash lights to come on. All the gauges work. I just can't get the lights themselves to turn on. I've got power to them. I don't know if it's a burnout cluster or what it is, but definitely need to figure that out, because at night it sucks. I can't see what I'm doing for speed. I can't see how much fuel I got, and me just being worrisome, always checking my oil pressure and temperature and stuff. Just, I do need to put a lower hinge pin repair kit in it. I've already got that as well. I just need to do it. It's not bad, it's just starting to sag, and before it gets bad or messes up the hinges or anything, I want to replace it. These little corner windows here, I want to replace those because they're starting to rot out, and I just don't trust them. I don't want to open them and fly off the truck, something crazy like that. But yeah, kind of a long little vloggy style video, I know, but I want to be able to look back and kind of see what I started with and show my son and everything, because he's 8 right now, so 10 years from now he ain't gonna remember anything. He's just gonna want the truck. It's got a new battery in it. Some of the AC stuff is still here. I've got more of it in boxes that came with the truck. There's probably enough there to bolt it all together. I'm not gonna waste the time and money putting it all back together. I'll just put a vintage air in it. Some sort of Holly carburetor. I don't know what it is, but it works. It runs. It starts right up. Starts better than both of my newer cars. Doesn't really leak. I mean, I know it looks dirty here. It's kind of ugly and old looking, but it doesn't leak. I mean, there's no puddles under it. Even after I've taken it on a pretty good drive with a bed full of wood in it, it didn't leak anything. All my fluids stay pretty much topped off. I do need a coolant reservoir for it. It's got a little hole where like a little mouse is trying to nibble at it. I still got the factory jack in here. I guess these are the people that way back in the day probably tried to mess with the AC on it. Never, I guess, fixed it, apparently. But other than that, yeah, that's where we're starting at. Runs, drives, and was a pretty good price. It was free. my little tube bumper in the back. Makes it look like a farm truck. But that's it.